And also in last video series we had seen how can we configure SQL Server 2019 active cluster on Windows cluster. Again, the Windows OS was Windows Server 2019. We'll just do a quick recap of our environment, what it was that time. So as you can see in this image, basically we had three different VMs. All VMs were part of same network so that they can communicate with each other. The very first VM was acting as domain controller as well as SAN or a storage. So whatever storage or storage disk or storage devices we configured or we created on this VM, we configured them respectively on node 1 as well as on node 2. Okay, we created or we installed SQL Server cluster between node 1 and node 2. So we install instances on both node 1 as well as node 2. So for node 1, node 2 will act as a failover cluster, and for node 2, node 1 will act as a failover cluster. So what I meant is, if node 1 goes down, whatever shared drives as well as SQL instance of node 1 will move over to node 2. So node 2 basically will have both node 2 instance as well as node 1 instance which got failed over from node 1. And same in the case if the node 2 goes down, whatever SQL instance and storage available on node 2 will move over to node 1. So that's why we are terming that as active. Okay, now in this video series we are going to see something different. So let me go back to the documentation first. Alright, so as you can see in this image, the overall architecture is same, only one difference. So we still have three nodes in same network. First node, again as I said, act as a domain controller as well as SAN. We'll see what this old SAN and new SAN is. Again, just for time being, just consider old SAN. So whatever storage devices or storage disk we configured on or we created on this domain controller, we configured them on node 1 as well as on node 2. Only difference is now we installed SQL instance only on node 1. There is no SQL instance installed on node 2, so it's active passive. So if node 1 goes down, whatever SQL instance as well as shared devices or shared drives will fail over to node 2. Okay, now the problem statement for this entire video series is what will happen when we had to change this SAN. Now why we need a SAN at first place. So if you go through this introduction, I've given this hyperlink over here. So if you check this, so let's first understand what the SAN is. So as you can see in this diagram, so there are different servers. So consider that as application server or a SQL server. Okay, so instead of storing your data, so in the case of SQL Server, MDF file, log file, LDF file, or temp drives on local storage, usually in production environment, we configure them on a separate storage. We call that as a storage area network. Okay, so instead of storing the data on local storage of that particular server, we spread it out or we store that in a separate storage. We call that as a SAN, and that can be formatted as RAID 1, RAID 2, RAID 10, whatever, or RAID 5 as per requirement. Okay, so but the problem is this storage or SAN device has some lifespan. So maybe after 5 to 6 years, every 5 to 6 years, we had to replace that SAN with a new device. Now, since in the case of SQL Server, those MDF and MDF file, log file, or even the temp files are configured on or stored on our storage network or on this device, we had to replace that. There is a breaking impact on our SQL cluster or SQL instance. So we cannot directly plug and play or just remove the old SAN and insert the new SAN. There are some steps involved, and those steps we are going to see in this video series. So basically what all things we had to do is, so as you can see here, there are some requirements for user database, some requirements for system databases, master databases, log file, configuration of log file path, agent log file. We'll see that how can we move the quorum drive, all those stuff. Okay, but and for the sake of this particular video, the first video of this series, what we are going to do is we'll see how to configure or how to create a new SAN or new storage. Okay, once that new storage gets created, we'll configure that new storage on these nodes respectively. Once those uh, once that new storage got created on both of these nodes, node 1 as well as on node 2, we'll add that into Windows cluster as well as SQL cluster. So all that part we'll see in this video. And remaining things, how can we move the MDF file, log file or Quorum drive from old SAN to new SAN just to get rid of the old SAN. All remaining steps we'll see in subsequent videos. So let's start. So what I will do, since we have configured our old SAN on domain controller, let me first open domain controller. So very first step which we are going to perform is creating a storage or creating a new SAN. So we already have some storage, data01, log01 and Quorum drive created, but we'll consider that as a as part of first SAN. We'll create a new storage. So I am again the SAN term I am using hypothetically. I do not have actual SAN actual SAN device or separate storage device. I'm using my local drive for time being just to replicate this scenario. My machine doesn't have enough memory, so that's why it's taking some time. And again, remember, since it's all those three VMs are part of one domain or one network, once you log in, make sure you log in as a domain user. Okay, so Goktes is my domain. I don't know why it is not getting bigger. Okay, anyway, we had to see those steps. So these are the requirements, and these are the steps just to create the disk or new storage. So as you can see here, we have to go to failover cluster server manager, then file storage services, then click on iSCSI, and these are the current existing log1, data01 and Quorum drive. Okay, and you can see those drives created over here as well on my C drive. Okay, so what I will do, I will create another folder over here. So let me go back and I will simply copy this folder. Perfect. And we are going to create new drives or new shared drives on this particular path. Okay, so in order to create a new drives, let's go to task, new iSCSI virtual disk. Okay, I will choose custom path. First I will create Quorum drive, QUOR Quorum 02, let's say. Next I will specify 1.5. Perfect. Let's create remaining two drives. First is the second one, which data01, data02. I'm sorry, data01 is already available. That is part of first SAN. I will give 5 gig. Perfect. And let's create the third one. Perfect. Log02, 4 gig. Perfect. So moment it gets closed, So you can see these are the new drives because the path is different. Again, just to identify based on the size, I have selected the different size. So for old Quorum drive, I had specified 1 gig. For new Quorum drive, I have specified 1.5 gig. Similarly, for data drive, I have specified 5 gig. Earlier, I had specified 3 gig. And over here, for log drive, it was 2. And for new log drive, I have specified 4 gig. Okay, so first part is done. We have created the shared storage on our domain controller. Now uh, we have to let me go back. We have to configure those new shared storage which we created on this VM to remaining nodes. Okay, so what I will do, let me close this guy and let me minimize this. And first I will open node 1 now. So we'll first configure those shared drives on node 1, and once it gets configured on node 1, we'll follow the same steps on node 2. It's very easy. Since we already had those drives, few steps we don't have to worry about. I mean, we already have old drives available on node 1 as well as on node 2. There are certain steps which we can skip. I had mentioned those steps here. Okay, again, as I said earlier, we had to log in with domain user. So this is my domain user. Let me maximize this. Now we have to go to, let me close the server manager first. By default, whenever you restart your machine, it gets open. And open iSCSI initiator. Now you had to specify this target, but since as I said, those SAN1 drives or old drives are already configured, this is already connected to the target. The server manager is opening. Let me close that first. And if you see here, let me close that. Okay, now if you see here, I can see just 3 drives. These are the old drives, data01, quorum01 and log01. I cannot see the new drives which we have created there because those drives are not configured yet. So just go to volumes and devices tab and click on auto configure. So again, moment I click OK, these drives are got configured on node 1 now, but still those are not available. There is a reason. Go to disk management. And moment you open disk management, you can see, even though you cannot see those drives over here, you can see those drives, 3 drives on disk management, but those drives are currently in offline state. So bring those drives online. Okay, now moment you bring those drives online, it says that it is not initialized, so you can initialize the disk, select all the drives. Okay, now you format those disks, simple format, next, and specify the drive later. I will give X for quorum QUO or quorum 02. Simple volume, next. I will specify Y for data 02. And Z for log 02. Perfect. So our drives are created on or configured on node 1. Same steps will have to follow on node 2 as well, but before that I need to bring these drives offline. because if those drives are online over here, now if I go back I can see those drives. Okay, but since those drives are online here, I cannot see those drives on node 2. I cannot configure those drives on node 2. So let me bring those drives offline momentarily on node 1. I will close this entire thing. Okay, so our work is done for node 1. Let me open node 2 now. Again, for node 2 as well, we had to follow exact same steps. One thing is, now since we have already formatted those drives on node 1, and since they are clustered shared drives, we don't have to format them again on node 2. Moment you open disk management and bring those drives online, though you will find those drives already formatted and they will have one default later assigned. We just have to change that later. We just have to map that later, whatever we configured on node 1. We'll see that. So I will log in here. I have to open iSCSI initiator. Server manager will get open. We'll just wait for it. I will close that. We don't need it. Perfect. iSCSI initiator. Again, the target is already connected. So go to volumes and devices. Click on auto configure. Click OK. Now remember, you will still not find those drives over here in Windows Explorer because those drives are still offline state. Go to disk mgmt and just bring those drives online. Remember, these first drives are online over there. These are part of SAN 1. We had to follow last 3 drives which are in offline state, make it online. And as you can see, we can see it as a quorum 01, letter drive F, letter G. I wonder why this doesn't have a letter got assigned, but that's okay. We can assign it right now. So change the letter, assign a letter. So I will assign X. Okay, let me change the letter of this one first. Y. Change the drive letter, change, and Z. Let me bring this offline and bring it online once again. Yeah, now it has. I don't know what had happened earlier. The letter did not get assigned, but now I will change it. I will make sure that later it's same. I mean, it's not need, but so it's supposed to have XYZ. Perfect. Okay, now these drives got configured on both node 1 as well as on node 2, and you can see it over here. Okay, now the next step is after the configuration on node 1 as well as node 2, we have to still these shared drives are not part of Windows cluster or SQL cluster. So the next task is go to failover cluster manager and add them into a Windows cluster, and then later on to SQL cluster as well. So I'll close this guy. Now if you see here, go to storage, go to disk, you still cannot see those drives because, as I said, those are not part of cluster yet. So click on this add disk. Now you will get to see those remaining drives. Click OK. now these are part of cluster, but still as available storage, still those are not haven't got added into a cluster actually. So in order to add them into a cluster, click on the role and add storage. Okay, so click on that cluster and click on add storage, select all the drives. Before that, let me show you one thing. Go to resources. See, now as you can see, only disk 2 and disk 3 are part of that cluster. Okay, remaining drives are not there. So that's why you click on add storage, select them, and now those are part of our cluster, but still they are not part of our SQL cluster. So how can we add that? How can we add the dependency on SQL cluster? So click on the SQL cluster instance. So this is our SQL cluster instance. Right click, click on the properties, go to the dependencies tab. Now here you get to see, so when we configured SQL Server 2019 cluster, that time this dependency got added automatically. Now what we are doing is we are adding few more drives or a new SAN, new storage to existing cluster. So that's why we had to add that dependency as well. So what I will do, I will not add disk 4 because disk 4 is a quorum drive. We are not using that as part of storage. Okay, so what I meant is, let me cancel it. So right now if you see the dependency, it shows only on disk 2 and disk 3. Disk 1 is a quorum drive. Okay, that is part of Windows cluster, not part of, I mean, it is part of SQL cluster as well, but we are not storing. There is it quorum drive 1. Quorum drive doesn't have any dependency on SQL instance because we are not utilizing that. Or our basically all our data file and log files are getting stored on disk 2 and disk 3. We are not storing, we are not utilizing quorum drive for our SQL instance. Same thing, since we are going to utilize disk 4 as a quorum drive, we are going to ignore that. We'll not add that as a part of SQL dependency. We'll just add disk 5 and disk 6, that is, this is data 02 and log 02. Apply, click OK. Okay, now, so how can we validate that these added as a dependency? So now remember, disk 5 and disk 6 got added just now. Okay, those were not available earlier. These disk 5 and disk 6, so I got confused, so let me go back. Okay, so this is data 02 and log 02. Disk 4 is quorum 02. I should not add disk 4. It's not there, I think. Let me validate. Yeah, disk 4 is not part of dependency. It's part of storage. Windows cluster are not added as a dependency to SQL instance. So now how can we validate that? So let's assume if I bring this disk 4 down, bring it offline. Remember, disk 4 doesn't have any dependency on our SQL instance. So even if we bring this drive offline, there is no change to our, or there is no impact to our SQL instance. I will still bring that online. But now disk 5 and disk 6, we added that as a dependency to our SQL instance. So moment you bring this disk offline, our SQL service will also go down. All right. So that's why that's how we realize that now, or we validated that these disks are part of Windows cluster as well as SQL cluster. We had added that dependency. So if this drives goes down, our SQL instance will go down. So again it acts reverse way as well. The moment you bring that instance online, corresponding drives will also come online. So as you can see, drive came up. After that only the SQL instance is coming up. Okay, so okay, perfect. So we'll stop over here. So let's go back, let's do a recap what all things we covered so far. So basically we created a new shared drives. Once we created those shared drive, we configured those drives on node 1 as well as on node 2. And after we configured them on node 1 and node 2, we added that as part of Windows cluster first and then as part of SQL cluster. Now in the next video, we are going to see this first thing. If we have a user database, how can we move this MDF file or LDF file? So currently there is a HR database which we have. Those for that HR database, the MDF and LDF files are configured on this old SAN data01 and log01 drives. We had to move those drives from old SAN to a new SAN. So basically, we had to move those MDF and LDF files from data01 to data02 and log01 to log02. So that thing we'll see in the next video. So thank you for watching this video and see you in the next video.